All right, hello, Programming 12. We're going to take a little bit about our keyboard input, and I'm just going to show you an example. There's no checkpoint attached to this, but at some point in this project coming up, and probably in many other projects, you're going to want to use, the keys on your computer to interact with the user, whether it's arrow keys to move around your character, or you just want to type in some letters. This is what it's all about. So just to get started, I wanted to mention that it's kind of similar to the mouse stuff. And here's a project from last year, the Bullet Hell game. And in the mouse lessons, we learned that there were special functions like void mouse pressed, void mouse released. And these were all predefined, but sort of left hollow. And they were automatically called by processing when someone uses the mouse. So that's true about the keyboard as well. And you can see here on my screen, I have void key pressed and void key released, which are two built-in functions that you can define their behaviors when they happen. Now, processing will automatically call key pressed and key released when, you guessed it, any key is pressed and any key is released. So these are happening all the time and are fairly, fairly useful to know about. So this is sort of the key pressed function, and basically what you can do is check to see which key was pressed, and then go from there to sort of make your program respond. And so what I'm using is some Boolean variables. I'm using a set of Boolean variables called up, down, left, and right, because I'm using the arrow keys to move my spaceship around. So if you take a look, I have these Boolean variables, I just declared right here. So they're meant to be for each key. And they are just set to true when a key is pressed, that is one of these keys, and it is set to false when a key is pressed, when that key is released. So that logic looks basically like this. Hey, in the key press function, I'm setting them to true if that specific key is pressed. Notice that I'm using key code for things like up, down, left, and right. Key code is like its variable that is automatically populated, or if its value is given by processing. And it is for things that when you type, they don't produce a character. Like the arrow keys, when you type them, like they don't make a character, so it's hard for you to know what they're saying. For keys that do make a character, like the space key here, you can just use the word key, and that works out nicely. And then, key released is basically the same idea, except that I'm setting the variables to false. And then you can use these variables to say in an if statement, like, hey, if you're pressing the up key or down key or whatever. So that's how we do key pressed and key release events. And then you can interact with these things. So this is a good way to do it. Okay, now you could imagine, oh, that seems like a lot of work to make these variables. Is this absolutely necessary? And it depends on what you're doing. Sometimes you can work directly within key press to define what happens to the up key, but it doesn't necessarily always work for, especially action type games like a platformer game or something. The behaviors are defined a bit by the operating system. So you get like, the key refresh and key repeat delay stuff from the operating system that are kind of getting in your way. And those are good for typing, but not necessarily so good for video games. So yeah, you could work directly from here, or you could build into your draw function sort of if statements that work with these variables. Okay, so that's basically what you need to know about key codes and keys and key pressed and key released. So take that knowledge and go forth into the future units. Thanks everybody. Take care.